Astilbes are among some of the easiest and most reliable of perennials that we can grow in our gardens. Now they come in different colors, they flower at different times, and also there's varieties that come at different heights. And if you go into many gardens, you'll be able to see nice big bold splashes of Astilbes flowering, and you'll be able, if you don't know them yet, to see just how impressive these plants are when they get there. And usually if you plant them in bold groupings and be able to contrast the different colors, shapes and forms, and also extend the flowering times by having early, mid-season and late varieties, you'll get certainly a tremendous amount of enjoyment from growing them. You'll find that really, as long as you're able to keep the conditions cool and moist, that they're very easy to grow. This particular variety, which is one called Rheinland, was, believe it or not, introduced over 100 years ago by George Arenz in Germany. He spent a lifetime breeding and selecting many different types of perennials, but he's probably better known for all of his sterling work that he made in growing and producing some fabulous varieties that we still grow today. Imagine that, over 100 years later, and we're still growing and enjoying the varieties that he perfected way back then. And this is an early flowering variety that, as you see, produces lots of these gorgeous fluffy flowers. When you look at them up close, you'll see that they're made up of many tiny little flowers that are carried on these feathery plumes that show up nice and prominently above a canopy of lacy dark green foliage that incidentally things like deer and rabbit normally leave alone. The key to growing Astilbes is two words: cool and moist. So if you're able to find a place somewhere in your garden that has moisture retentive soil, it might be somewhere that lays a little on the damp side, or it might be that you create damp conditions. And if you do that, what you could do is to dig a good sized hole and incorporate plenty of planting compost, and then be sure to water them during the drier periods of the summer, and certainly put down a layer of mulch. That will help to retain moisture and keep them growing nice and luxuriantly during the summer. About the only conditions that they don't like are hot, dry, sunny locations. They will grow quite well in sun, providing they've got plenty of moisture at their roots, and that's the key. But one thing I want to stress is that when I'm talking about moisture, I'm not talking about soaking wet conditions. These are not water plants. And if you plant them in a really wet area, you'll find that they will deteriorate over time. Better to have somewhere that stays a little on the moist side, and particularly during summertime. You'll find then that this variety, which is an early flowering one, will push up with lots of these gorgeous bright pink flowers that go on for several weeks. And what's neat about them is that this foliage, which makes a really nice canopy, does two things. It provides very nice ground cover, actually three when I think about it. Nice ground cover, also provides a lovely background to show off the flowers, and also is not normally browsed by the likes of deer and rabbits. So if you're looking for a really nice plant that you can grow in your garden, that's reliable, that isn't really bothered by pests and diseases, that will grow in shady or in partially shaded sites or in sun, providing it's got the moisture, then look for Astilbe Rheinland. It's an excellent variety that, despite its age, still grows and flowers and gives lots of enjoyment to today's gardeners.